Yep.
And welcome back to Getting Lunk. Now, I had thought maybe I could save a bunch of time by pre-gaming all of this stuff before the temple. But, you know, what kind of challenge would it be if I just cheesed every single last bit of it, right? But, if you're wondering, if you were to pre-game up until grabbing the bombs, that'd save you about 30 minutes of time. And if you were to pre-game up to the dungeon, it'd save you about an hour worth of time. But I decided I'm not gonna pre-game it. I'm just gonna raw dog it and see what time I get at the end of it.
Yep.
First exercise is sumo squats. I'm using a 50-pound dumbbell and I'm doing 10 reps. I'd also like to add that if you do decide to pre-game just to the dungeon and do the workout only on the dungeon, you may have to grab some of the optional triggers in there in order to get 15 sets, but it's still possible. For my next set, I'm using a 55-pound dumbbell and I'm doing 10 reps. For my last set, I'm using a 60-pound dumbbell and I'm doing 10 reps. Next exercise is Cossack squats. I'm using a 50-pound dumbbell and I'm doing 10 reps on each leg. For my next set, I'm using a 55-pound dumbbell and I'm doing 10 reps on each leg. For my last set, I'm using a 60-pound dumbbell and I'm doing 10 reps on each leg. Next exercise is calf raises. I'm using 50-pound dumbbells and I'm doing 10 reps. For my next set, I'm using 55-pound dumbbells and I'm doing 10 reps. For my last set, I'm using 60-pound dumbbells and I'm doing 10 reps. Next exercise is bench squats. I'm using 10-pound dumbbells and I'm doing 10 reps. The reason why I'm using lighter weight is because in between set triggers on Wind Waker, it's about 1 to 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. And with that much weight, I just wasn't getting enough rest time in between sets to, not end up hurting myself maybe. So I was, hey, please lift responsibly. For my next set, I'm using 15-pound dumbbells and I'm doing 10 reps. For my last set, I'm using 20-pound dumbbells and I'm doing 10 reps. Alright, last exercise is going to be side lunges. I'm using a 20-pound dumbbell and I'm doing 10 reps on each leg. For my next set, I'm using a 25-pound dumbbell and I'm doing 10 reps on each leg. For my last set, I'm using a 30-pound dumbbell and I'm doing 10 reps on each leg.